Hello and welcome to another episode of Unapologetically Rich. I'm your host, Shamina Taylor. And today we have the Miss Sandi Glandt, who is a high performance coach, and she was also
Mrs. International 2022.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome to Unapologetically Rich, the show for high achieving women who refuse to settle. I've helped over 51 women become millionaires and multimillionaires. You're next. I'm here to unlock the next level of wealth, freedom, fulfillment, and feminine power. So hit the follow button, share this with every woman who needs to hear it, and get ready, because every week we're diving deep and rising higher. This is the Unapologetically Rich Show. Are you ready? Let's get to it. So Sandi, we got connected through one of our friends, Melissa, and I was looking for some amazing women who are doing big things in the world and that are mothers, that are wives, that are also creating incredible wealth and making big impact. Tell us a little bit about where you started and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, so I grew up in Pennsylvania, a small town, very small town in Pennsylvania. And I always had that entrepreneurial spirit from parents, grandparents. I saw it my whole life. I knew I had to get out of a small city. And long story short, moved to Miami, met my now husband here. But, my background, I have so many different, it feels like so many different lifetimes. But I was in media, I was in TV, I was in radio, I was in event planning. And I feel like all of those aspects of my life came together into who I am today. Because I do all of that today, between TV and social media and, all these avenues, especially the event planning. There's a lot that contributes, especially in the high performance area, to time management and productivity and systems, very, very heavily, in the event planning space with that. But it all came together and here we are today. And there's so many different avenues today.
I love that. So what was the pinnacle moment where you're like, I am done with Pennsylvania, I'm rolling to Miami, and I'm done with the small town thing? Like, there's had to have been a moment in your life where you're like, okay, this is it, Sandi. You need to make the movement now or else.
Yeah, well, okay, so I was running a whole venue in Pennsylvania, and I kind of knew I was tapped out where I was. I knew that the vehicle that I was in was only gonna get me so far, and I had already exceeded it. So I kind of looked down in Florida because I knew I wanted to be here. And at the time, I actually interviewed at the company that my husband was at, and they hired me for a job. I didn't take the job, but I said, you know what, I know I've got to get myself out of my comfort zone in order to reach this next level. So long story short, didn't take the job, stayed connected with this guy, and then ended up dating, falling in love, moving here, getting married, and having babies.
Oh, I love that. So was there any struggles in your life? Or was it always just really easy?
Look, there was struggles in my...
Wait a minute, you made it sound like it was just, I did this. And so all of us are like, okay, she's pretty, she's got it figured out. We want to know really what did you overcome? Because, one of the things why I created this show was I wanted to show women that we're all the same,
Yes.
And sometimes people see the highlight reel, but they don't know exactly where you came from. So I know that you had a story because you weren't always this maybe she's gorgeous, but maybe you weren't always this put together, but what was the struggles that got you to where you are?
Well, okay. So I'll tell you the biggest aha moment for me. That was one of the biggest struggles of my life. And it came when I had my first son.
Oh, wow.
And, I went from a world where I was running a business, I was being a wife, I was, running all the home systems, the business systems. And then I had my first baby and completely lost control of it all. I didn't know, because I had never been before, I didn't know how to be wife and mother and business owner and take care of myself. So, a lot of people, I think they have a defining or maybe multiple defining moments where they're like, this was a pivotal point where it all changed for me. It was, I would say, 2 weeks into bringing my son home. Now, let me paint the picture for you. Unplanned C-section. My baby's born during a hurricane. We have to evacuate 3 days after he's born. Now it's this whole wild goose chase to get back to Miami post-hurricane. And now I'm at home with my baby and my husband's back to work and I'm all alone having no clue what to do. And my first, because for me, again, my brain always goes to systems. How do I how do I make things work? Like there's gotta be something that I can duplicate, but I couldn't find anything. I'm like, how do I be the best wife, the best mother, the best woman that I can be? But if there was no blueprint for me. And really with motherhood, as you know, there's no blueprint, there's no manual for motherhood. So for me, I said, I want to create, I remember having this breakdown on the bathroom floor moment. And my husband was so amazing because in this moment, he's like, you're going through this for a reason. You're going through this moment right now to show other women how it can be done.
No, it's possible.
So absolutely. And so that moment when I felt like it was a complete breakdown was a breakthrough for me, even though I couldn't see it in that exact moment, because I said, you know what, I'm going to figure out how to run a business and have babies and not just do it, but do it well. Be a great mom, be a great wife, be a great business owner, take care of myself. So it's really, really ingrained in me. And I love sharing this with my women that we can do it all.
We can.
But we have to have the right systems and strategies and support to do it all.
Agree. So give us 3 things that you would say are imperative for a woman who wants to have it all, because I know a lot of my audience and my listeners and the women tuning in, they want to run their empires.
Yes.
They want to be amazing moms and not miss out on the soccer games, I can count on one hand between my 2 kids how many things I've missed because I created that life, because you don't get that time back with your children.
That's right.
So and I don't want women to think that they have to choose one or the other and then have the weight of the world on them at all times, because that's when they go into their masculine energy.
Right. And I love that you talk about that, by the way. I saw you do a video and I'm like, yes, she gets it. I love that so much.
Well, let's talk about it more. But it's like systems are important, but also recognizing what do you need as a mother, because I think a lot of times we put ourselves last and we don't put ourselves first, and our boss energy kind of gets diluted. And so tell us the 3 things that you would, if a woman's thinking about, how she can balance it all and still be at the top of her game in high performance, because all of you guys listening are high performers, and still be a great mother and still run a household, all those things. Tell us what your secrets are.
So the first thing is you have to figure out what are the top priorities, right? Because a lot of times, just like you're mentioning, she might say, I want to be a great mom and I want to be a great business owner, but where are you in that equation? So what are those pillars that you're mapping out that are your non-negotiables?
Right.
So that's number 1, because if you don't have it figured out, it's not going to happen.
So what is that daily routine looking like?
Well, the first thing is just figuring out, literally writing down, what are my top pillars? My health, my family, my business. Identify, number 1. Okay. What are they?
Okay.
Then the second part is putting in those daily habits and really behaviors that honor what those 3 pillars are.
Sure.
Because, for example, let's say a woman says her physical health is important to her. She wants to keep up with her kids. She wants to run on the playground with them. But she's not going to the gym.
Right.
She's not drinking her water. She's not, all the things that we talk about, eating healthy. She's not doing those things. Well, that's not in alignment with number 1. So number 1, figure out what they are. Number 2, you have to match your habits. And number 3, discipline. The discipline to actually follow through. Because it's so hard.
It is, because what if I'm I remember my child, this is when I was going through my divorce, he was at preschool. He's now 19. He just finished his first year of college. But he came home with this booklet, and in the booklet, he had pictures of home. One of the pictures was this sick person laying sideways. And I was like, baby, who's that? And he's like, Mommy, that's you on the couch. I was like, are you kidding me? Because
that was
my interpretation, because I was running myself ragged at the time, trying to do it all, having my own firm, going to the gym still, being a mom, but I was tapped out. I didn't know the things that I know now, but I know that a lot of women listening could identify with that moment, because it's I'm so exhausted.
Real.
So if someone's looking to have discipline, how do they restructure their life? So, because I see a lot of women who are very high performers, but then they're overweight, or they don't like how they're looking, and their health is being affected.
Right.
How does she dig herself out of that? What's the next, what does she do?
This is so great. So micro habits first.
That's great.
Don't focus on, we're not trying to climb the mountain overnight.
Right.
If you do that, you're going to burn out, you're going to feel exhausted, and it doesn't last. Right? So micro habits, what's one thing? Maybe the first thing is making sure that you get enough protein that day.
Right, because that's a big deal, to get 120 grams of protein or whatever a day. That's a big deal. Okay, that's
maybe one of those is you set your alarm clock to 6 a.m. and you get up the first time that alarm clock goes off, right? Like non-negotiables. So those little things, and I'm not talking 20 at a time, one thing a day, and get consistent with it. Then you can start habit stacking.
I love that. So we would do habit stacking. So instead of trying to overhaul, because a lot of people will take on the whole thing and be like, oh, no, I'm going to completely revamp everything. And then the failure rate goes up, right?
Right.
Okay. So this is something you're doing now. So tell me about, I love that. I hope you guys got some, value from that, because I think a lot of you don't know how to actually balance your life the way that you want to. I wake up when I wake up when I'm done sleeping in the morning. So I used to wake up at the 5 a.m. crew, and I realized that I needed a regulated nervous system. Yeah. And so my sleep became imperative as I got older.
I prioritize sleep.
Me too.
I rarely go out. Like my bedtime is 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And sometimes even earlier, like 8:30. I mean, I prioritize my sleep because I go so hard during the day, but I also get up at 5:30. So your girl needs at least 8 hours of sleep.
I
have a home gym.
Okay.
So I wake up, I'm in my gym at 7. I'm in my gym at 6 and I'm done by 7.
Okay.
Because then I got to get into the mom routine, and then the kids have to be made breakfast, and then they have their whole routine. So 5:35, I'm awake. Not 5:30, 5:35. And then by 6 o'clock, I'm in my home gym and I have an hour. Now look, when I'm also in prep for fitness competitions, I do a little bit more.
You do competitions too?
Yeah.
Oh, are you bikini?
Yes, so I
used to do
WBFF.
figure. What?
WBFF.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so I just won my first competition in December.
Let's go.
2 first place and pro card.
High five. That's amazing. Congrats. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
All right.
Thank
I
you.
used to do figure comps back when I was your age back then.
You look like you look like it.
But it was such a great discipline to have.
Yes.
I mean, you've got to be disciplined, because your workouts, your protein.
And everything's based around that.
Everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
So add that on top of
wow, that's
life.
amazing. Yeah. Okay, so I love that, because I think that it just brings another level of discipline to how you're living your life. And plus, when you look good, you feel good. And then when you're working towards an end result, like it's something that every day you're waking up and you're working towards. Amazing. Well, she's got a knockout body. So tell me about the women's group that you run. And because I see that you're doing some amazing things out there. And I'm a big supporter of women who are doing big things, because I feel like women who are in abundance are always hyping up and trying to share the message. And I believe the more empowered that you are, the more empowered leader that you are.
Yes.
Because you're not in competition with others. Right. And we always talk about collaboration. So tell us about your women's group and what you're doing.
Well, okay, so you just said something that's really, really important. And you said the mindset of abundance. And that's something I think I again, picked up from being in an entrepreneurial family. I have always led with abundance mindset. Like, there is enough for all of us to win.
Everybody.
There is enough for us, everyone, a seat at the table. You gotta bring your own weight. You gotta hold your own weight, but we will support you. We're gonna lift you up and encourage you. I want women in my life winning. Like, I love that. I love to see, we were talking about this on the episode on the radio yesterday. Like, it's so amazing when you have women around you that support you, that cheer you on, that are like your sisters, that have your back. So this academy that I have, it's called the High Performance Academy.
I love.
And it's literally women that are running businesses and babies and taking care of themselves. And every week we meet to talk strategy. So they're getting the back end, like run your home like a business and implement strategy into your actual business. But then we do really fun events too. So we get the in-person and the virtual, and we bring it together, and it's an amazing high performance experience.
How long have you been doing that for?
The academy has been running, I want to say, for about upwards of 5 years.
Excellent. I love that. No, I mean, I say that you are the blueprint for your life and business.
Yeah.
So what your daily habits are, what your mindset is, on the lens you look through the moment you wake up is going to be the predictor of how you run your business and how you look at the world through those lenses. And so it's important. Also, having great girlfriends around.
Yes.
And my daughter, last night we were at dinner, and she's like, Mom, a lot of your friends are everywhere else that we go, like, and whenever we go to the events, your friends are there. And I said, well, baby, they always say, like, you go to the places, the rooms that you want to be in, and that's where you find people that are just like you, you know? Right. And that's where you find, women who want to collaborate, and not compete.
And lift you up and go on that ride. Yes.
It's very rare, unfortunately, and I wish it wasn't. Yeah. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I want to show other women that we don't have to compete, but the only way that you can get that jealousy out is if you see it's possible for you, right?
Abundance mindset.
That's it.
You have to have it. Otherwise, all you see is competition. And look, I think that it's healthy to have, obviously I'm competing in fitness competitions and beauty pageants and all the things, but I am my competition.
Absolutely.
I'm not looking like, what's she doing? I'm like, how can I support you? What can I add value to for you? right? But like for me, I'm my competition from Sandi yesterday or Sandi an hour ago or a minute ago, you know? And that's my bar, because I always want to get better than that version of me, not whoever's around me. That has nothing to do with me.
Why do you think, because I think it's important to talk about this, because I think a lot of women think that they are a girl's girl, or they're like a hype woman, like, oh, I celebrate everybody. But if you can't celebrate yourself first, then can you celebrate others? But what do you think is a reason why many women are unable to be in that abundance mindset?
You know, unfortunately, I think it probably comes down to confidence. They're afraid that if they support someone else, it's going to take away from them, like dim their own light in a way. And I think that when you're so confident, not just in yourself, but you know, it has nothing to do with you. It's not about the competition between woman to woman, right? So I think that just being able to be confident in who you are and what you bring to the table and how you can support others, you don't even operate with that because you know there's enough for everybody.
Right. And I think that is actually one of the secret things, though, to becoming empowered.
Yes.
Like fully empowered. So
and gratitude.
Well, I do it every day.
Yes.
It's something I've been practicing.
Huge part of my life.
Because it's a different type of mindset. When you wake up and you're grateful instead of what's missing, you have a completely different lens that you look through the world through. You know, I look at the reason why I created the communities and the masterminds and the groups that I have is because I was searching for them myself. I was looking for a place where we could talk about wealth, we could talk about success, and not feel bad, because maybe in our everyday lives, you've created a community here in Miami, which is amazing. But let's say in my everyday life, you know, wherever people, imagine if you were in Pennsylvania trying to live like this, it would probably be a little bit harder because maybe the community that you're in wouldn't support you. But here in Miami
is a different breed. However, we have women from all over the world that are in the program.
Yes.
And you know, what I would say is like, your people, like you will find them. Because again, like I moved here, I didn't know anybody.
Really?
I knew nobody when I moved here. I knew my husband, boyfriend at the time, my husband now. I knew nobody. And I remember being like, I don't need girlfriends. I don't need to have these relationships. I remember specifically thinking that.
You've been here 5 years?
And I've been here 11 years.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yes. So when I met my first girlfriend here, like real girlfriend, not the fake stuff, the real deal. She was so supportive. She was like, what are you doing? How can I support you? How can I elevate you? And the crazy thing was, all of a sudden, like once we were both doing that together, leaning into each other, supporting, like it was more, and it grew to what it is now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like majority of the women want that.
Why wouldn't you?
Like
it's
the
so
relationship,
powerful.
it is, because it's like a place where you can be yourself.
Yeah.
And I believe when those communities are created, which I do believe both of us are doing, it allows a woman to feel into the most powerful version of herself, where she doesn't have to dim her light, where she doesn't have to play small in order not to trigger another friend because of her success or the things that she wants. Yeah. But it's so rare.
And to have, you know, that friend that's also not just cheering for you, but like, when's the next book? When's the TV show? When's the podcast? Like constant elevation, but in a very supportive way.
Yeah, I love that. What have you found? Have you gone through, met people here that weren't your people? And like, I mean,
yeah, you know,
Miami doesn't have a real tone to it. Like, you have to create.
You do. Yes.
The real, if that makes sense.
Totally. So I think that, look, everyone, you're going to find your people, and you're going to find people that are not your cup of tea, we'll just say, right? And I think that you'll know if it feels like that or not. So number one, I've had this my whole life, but I think everybody has this, especially women, our intuition, we know.
Yes.
You know when a relationship is catty.
Yeah.
You know when she's talking behind your back. Even if you don't hear from someone else, you're like, the vibe is off.
Right.
You just know.
Because you just feel it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even if, let's say you're not that, you don't have that intuition. You, like in my experience, when you're giving to someone and they're just taker energy, you're like, okay, I see the lens that this is through. So how long are you going to play that game?
Yeah, you said someone has to bring to the table too, which I thought was a really important aspect of being in abundance.
Yes.
So tell me, what is your definition of wealth?
Yeah, so to me, my family is everything. Like family comes first and foremost. My husband, my babies. I mean, I'm very fortunate because my whole life is around how I can be at the soccer games and, show up to be there for whatever they're into. It's going to change. They're 4 and 7. But for me, wealth is being surrounded like surrounded by family, people that you love, that exactly what we're talking about, that elevate you, that support you, that want the best for you. And you can have that with your blood family, or you can have that with your chosen family. I'm so blessed to have both. And I think that for me, really being wealthy, like having not just your health, because that is a huge component of being wealthy. You have to have your health to go with that, is having relationships that fuel you, that give you purpose, and that you feel like you get to be the best version of yourself.
I agree with that 100%. People ask me what makes me feel wealthy. It's my children. Like looking at how emotionally mastered they are and happy. Like that's, for me as a mom, like I feel complete with that.
Yep.
But let's talk about money. Like, let's talk about, what does rich mean to you? Because the show is called Unapologetically Rich.
Yep.
And the reason why I said this, I created this, is because I feel like I want to empower women to have everything, like whatever it is they want. But women with money in their hands, we can do
unstoppable. Yes.
And so rich sometimes has a bad connotation. Miami is rich. Like it's an epitome of wealth and rich, What is your definition of rich now?
Okay, so rich to me, again, if we're peeling back, we're talking about monetary.
Yeah,
right?
let's say.
Money gives you the opportunity to amplify all the things that you want to do, whether that's your impact that you have in your community, whether that's the reach that you have, whether that's the opportunities that you get to give to yourself, your family, your children. I mean, my kids and I, we go on these beautiful European vacations.
So do we.
I never did that.
Oh my gosh.
I never did that. Our vacation was to like the Poconos in Pennsylvania. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it's a different experience. So
where'd you guys go? Where'd you guys go in Europe?
I mean, we've done Greece, we've done Spain, we've done Italy, we've done France, we've done.
And they're 4 and 7.
Yes. So they're very well traveled. They speak, as of right now, 2 languages.
That's amazing.
Fluently.
Spanish and English.
So opportunities.
Spanish and English?
Yes.
Yeah. It's
yes.
Good. I wish I had Spanish today with the Uber drivers, but I need to. I need to
They
learn.
teach me. Like,
oh, that's amazing.
And if I need a translator, they will translate for me in Spanish. Very fluent. Yes.
Okay, so we're just gonna say.
So opportunity. Money gives you opportunity. So that alone, it just unlocks so many different levels that give you the opportunity to live the life that you want on your terms. Time.
Right. Well, time's a big one.
Yes. Time, opportunity, being able to be with your babies, no matter how old they are, young they are. It's an asset to have, because when you're wealthy, when you're rich, it gives you the ability to do the things that not only you enjoy, but create massive impact.
Were you always wealthy?
I grew up in a very comfortable family. Like we have a joke in our family, because when I was little, I wanted this little Barbie toy car, this pink Barbie toy car. You've seen them everywhere, right? And my parents would not buy it for me. And so I was the oldest of 3, the only girl. I worked 3 jobs and went to college. I hustled my booty off, but it created an insane work ethic. So I was never given anything. I had everything I needed, but anything I wanted was, okay, go get it. Which is what I want to instill in my kids also.
And that's what you've done right now.
Yeah.
So you always knew you were going to be wealthy.
I knew the kind of life that I wanted to lead. I knew
from
a young age. And of course it's better with money. I mean, again, opportunity, time, all of it, freedom.
But if your money was taken away from you right now, what would you do?
If money was taken away from me, I think it's easier now, because you have, like, starting from square one, you don't have all of the knowledge and the tools and the information, versus if you start from square one now at this point. So it would be way easier a second time to be able to build something up.
Because you go make it again.
Exactly.
So you don't have a fear of the money ever leaving you.
So for me, and I think this is also a very entrepreneurial way of thinking, is there's always opportunities. I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, if you want something, I'm not just gonna go buy you whatever toy game it is. I wanna see, how are you gonna earn it? Like, create value for me. Create value for me, and not just me, but like, go to the neighbor's house, go walk the dog, go do a lemonade stand, but go provide value for someone that you can get that exchange of money and go get it yourself and feel proud of yourself that you did it.
I love that. My daughter, she loves Shein. I don't know why, but she's a teenager, so it's like, and it's great.
Yeah.
Today she was coming out of the room when we were in the at the hotel, and I'm like, this outfit's cute. She's like, Shein.
Yeah.
And so when she was younger, she would go and she'd be like, Mom, I want to buy. I'm like, okay. So she'd show me the cart, and it was like $150. I'm like, all right, let's exchange here.
Yeah.
What
are you
chores you want to do?
Yeah.
And so she would negotiate those. She's like, I'm like, okay, laundry. And she's like, I'm like $5. I said $4. I would say $4 or $5. She's like, that's probably like an $8 one. And she would like, she was
Negotiate.
She was negotiate, but she would up her value. And so she knew the exchange. And obviously my kids have had a great life, sort of as yours. I mean, she's like, on the way here, she had to fly coach because her boyfriend came and she's like, I roughed it back there, but I made it, you know, but I mean, I wanted to show her there was no limit to life of what she wanted. Like,
that is so important to us in raising the boys is, again, back to the abundance mindset. Like, you can have it, but you have to go create it.
Right.
It's not going to be given to you.
Right. I mean, like on my dime now, we'll go travel.
Right.
But then when you're out in the world, you're going to have
It's on you.
It's on you.
Yeah.
But I wanted to show them here's what's possible. And, you know, we have a great life because I felt like if I didn't show her, she would think that it was out of touch or out of reach.
Right.
And it was only for other people.
I always say no. Like, if it's not a no, it's how are you going to make it happen?
Right. And
So,
you did that.
I
though,
love that you're doing that with her.
You're a how to make it happen gal. I can already tell that about you. Like, you always get what you want. You're probably an amazing manifestor too. Like when it comes
my husband, he thinks I'm like, I don't know, have like sorcery or something. I'm like, look,
What's the greatest thing that you've ever put together and you're like, damn, I can't believe that happened?
My whole life, I feel like I
can see that with
manifested. You. Like, it is wild. And I even, you know, I started reading books on it and I'm like, I already knew these things. I just don't know how I do it.
Did you do it with your man?
You know what's crazy? I'll tell you. So I'm Jewish and I went to the Western Wall and I wrote like what I want in a husband and the father of my kids, all these things. 4 months later, 6 months later, I had met my husband and we started dating.
Stop it.
Yeah.
And you had already moved to Miami though?
No.
Oh, you were still in Pennsylvania?
No. So and the crazy part is I actually met him before I went to that trip.
Okay, where'd you meet him?
I met him here in Miami on a job interview.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Oh,
so I had already met him, but I wasn't open at that time to like boyfriend, none of it. I was just like, I was there for a job interview. I wasn't there for a boyfriend.
So do you think a lot of women might have met their guy already, but they're not open to receiving him?
Maybe. If they are closed off, because look, there's a Sex and the City episode, and she's like, oh, when the light on the taxi goes off, like he's unavailable. But when it goes on, you have a small window that it's on. And I think for me, because I was now open to it, I was like, I knew what I wanted. I don't know. So much of my life, I feel like is being clear on what is it that I want, and then once I know, it happens very fast.
Well, tell me what the connection piece is, though, because I think knowing what you want is half the battle.
Right.
I really feel like a lot of women they have goals instead of desires, and I feel like desires is an emotional connection, where goals is a very cerebral thing. Like, I'm gonna.
You're so good
finish,
at this.
Sorry?
I love this. I love when you talk about this.
They're check off. I'm gonna get the degree. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do this. But then they're like, well, I thought I was gonna feel a different way about it, and so they keep going to the checklist.
Right.
But when it's a desire of how you want to feel when you achieve the thing, I think that's actually what creates the manifestation, whatever you want to call it, to come in faster, because you're just like, I want to feel this way about my life. Like, we rented a suite at the W, and it was like a 3-bedroom, and I was like, I want to buy one of these in Miami. So I said to my daughter, wouldn't it be amazing to come here or have one, and we can come a couple times a month, you know? And she's like, Mom, this would be amazing. I'm like, start manifesting it, because she's amazing.
Yes.
I'm like, this would feel so amazing. Not like, and I don't have to worry about the 3 million or whatever to come up with it. It's just like,
it's going to happen.
I just want this feeling of being able to be here with my child, and that's the fastest way. So I believe that's something that you do because you're so in touch. So you have a safe relationship with your father and your mother, right? You grew up in that. So money was probably never something that was scarce in your mind. It was always available, right?
It was, yeah.
So I teach that. I feel like women who grow up feeling safe and have a nervous system that's regulated, they don't go into their hardcore masculine all the time. Sometimes they do it just at a performance, but the fear around money is not there, right?
Right. Well, and I think too, you just said the fear around money. I think because I had parents that always taught me, like what we're talking about, how we do with our kids, you're teaching that it's not that you can't have it, or if a parent says we can't afford it, you're reframing and saying, you can have anything you want. But how are you going to make it happen? Like, the power is in your hands. And my parents were really, really good at doing that. Like, you can have those pair of jeans, you can have those shoes, but how are you going to make it happen?
Exactly. So when you're creating what you want, because I think that you can provide some value here, because it's just, you said your husband said it was very instant for you.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even know what she does, but like.
When you get the idea, have you ever not got what you wanted?
I think in the times when I didn't get what I wanted, there was something so much bigger.
It was redirection,
that I
not
got
rejection, right?
Instead.
Okay.
And, I'll tell you, like, when I was competing in the pageant, I competed in the pageant in 2022. Mrs. International.
That's a big deal. Congratulations.
I had never competed before. I had never done a pageant in my life before. And I remember going through this whole process and I was like, oh my gosh, my plate is gonna be so full. Like if I were to win this, like, am I gonna be able to take this on? Like, you know, all these things go through your head because I was a mom and business owner, all these things.
Oh, this is post babies. Yeah, right.
This is,
it's only 2 years ago.
My youngest at the time was like almost about to turn 2. So very little. And so I remember being backstage and right before they announced the winner, like it was before we all went back out on stage, I got it downloaded and it was literally like, this was all for you. And then I went out on stage and
so you already knew you were a winner.
Won.
This was all for you.
It wasn't, I knew like something, I just
Okay, let's talk about this download stuff because,
Yeah.
you know, that's a very spiritual thing to say about downloads and it's not very common,
Yeah.
you know, because I get them too. But I only got them because I actually had to work through all my trauma and heal everything.
Be
open to it and really tap in. I had to meditate for an hour every day for 8 years to get to this because I was really locked in as being a lawyer and very, very in my human state, you know. But you're tapped into like this higher power. And do you talk to it all the time or how do you connect? Like, how do you know? Like intuition, like tell us about that because that's really important.
The number one place I've always tapped into it the most, it's going to sound crazy. I wonder if you can guess it before I tell you.
The number one place you've always...
That I like where it comes to me, these downloads or information.
The gym? No.
The shower.
The shower. Oh yeah, you know, I can see that though. Yeah.
And what I've heard or what I've learned is that there's something with like being connected to water that gives you creativity or allows things to flow. So anytime, it could be the ocean, it could be the shower, I get the best ideas close to water or in water.
No, that's great because my daughter, she's very, very empathic and she's intuitive and all the things. And she has to go to water to actually ground herself. Yeah. But it's a place where she loves, like she's a little mermaid. She's in the water probably right now. And, but it's a high frequency, water is. So we back in the day, my ex-husband and I came up with this idea to like put, some kind of board that would be stuck on the, you know, inside the shower because we get a lot of ideas. Everybody gets ideas in the shower, right? But someone else invented it anyway. But that's where I think that's the freest that you are. You're washing away other energy.
Like more relaxed.
You're moving. Yeah, you're more relaxed. You're moving away the energy. So that's the place where all of your ideas come in.
Majority of them come in the shower.
That's when the downloads come in.
Yes.
So what do you think is because you're calm?
I think it's I'm a very running on all cylinders all the time. So I think that's my time. Even if it's just like a quick, you know, not the full body hair shower. And when I'm in there, it's my time where I'm like, oh, okay, I can breathe for a minute. And then it starts flowing.
What do you do for downtime?
Massages. Love massages.
So what do you do to get into your feminine to receive? Like this is
important.
I've
been working on this.
Okay.
I've been working on this a lot lately because look, I work from home. So, you know, one office to the next room is my house.
Right.
So there's not a lot of transition time.
It's this, I know,
Exactly.
I know.
So I've been really, really trying to work on this because, you know, obviously my husband is very alpha and you can't have two alphas.
My husband is obviously very alpha. So what does that mean?
Well, I mean, because I'm also very alpha.
Explain before you keep going on. Because I think this is important because this is what strong women need to hear.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm learning this like in real time, like now.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's powerful because it took me very long to figure this out.
Yeah.
Which is I have to turn mine off so he can turn his up.
Hello. Wait. Do you all hear that? Because this is the epidemic that's happening right now. Because if we don't allow ourselves to receive and go into our feminine, we don't give the men in our lives an opportunity to protect, provide, throw us up against the wall, you know, all the things that you want. And you know what I mean? Like, so we're not turning his beta switch on, you know, we want to make sure that he's the man. Okay, keep going.
100%.
Yeah.
So in my, you know, education of this, awareness of this, I have been doing, you know, when we have dinner now, we're lighting candles. I do flowers I do the flowers, I arrange them. I do like in our bedroom, at the kitchen table. And I'm so much more cognizant of like turning it off when I step out of the office now.
Love.
So I can, when he comes home, like even just greeting him at the door, I know it sounds so simple.
They want that.
Yes. But it's like me almost like just flipping the switch. And this is going to sound like so simple too, but for the longest time, we would like have someone do a meal delivery service or we'd order Uber Eats or whatever. I started cooking home cooked meal. This was like 2 years now, going on 2 years of like cooking the home cooked meals, making sure his plate is set. And it sounds so old school, but it like fuels my soul in doing this. Because I know that is my feminine. I can like turn that up and be so present in that.
No, I think that's actually amazing. One of the things that I've talked to a lot of men, they're like, we just want to come home and not be hit with all the anger and like, you have to do all this. It's just like, baby, how was your day?
Exactly.
And kiss at the door and then a home cooked meal. Men are really simple.
Right.
I mean, they're not going to get that probably from me because I don't know how to cook, but I mean, I can meal prep.
To learn. I did not. Okay. 2 years ago, I was like, I don't know how to cook.
Okay, what'd you do?
Okay. I just started doing it.
Oh, really?
I just started doing it. Think about how you run your business.
Yeah.
Were you born knowing how to do this?
No.
No. You learn by trial
enjoy
and
it
error. And now I love it. And my meals have to be under 30 minutes, easy cleanup time, and healthy. Those are the 3 boxes.
We need a recipe book.
Girl, something's coming.
Let's go. For the high performing woman, we need these are the quick recipes for 30 minutes. Okay, I'll be downloading that PDF.
It's coming
ASAP.
for you.
Okay, I need that digital thing right now, ASAP. Because I don't want a book, I just need the digital on it.
You got it.
Okay. And then show me exactly what I need to shop at Instacart because I'm not going to the store. Okay.
All of it.
Oh, this is like going to be life changing for us because we want to do this.
Because this is how I can't, like, for me, you have to know, like, and look, when I say cut corners, like, I haven't been to the grocery store in
You shouldn't because that's not a money making move.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. So I Instacart 2 to 3 times a week.
Leverage your time, baby.
And then I make the meals, but I also, bulk batching meals, all the things, we'll talk about that on another episode, but it's just like putting me in that space where I feel like I can be of service. And my husband and I talk about that a lot. Like, how can I serve you?
I love that. So do you see a shift in him that you started doing this with your interaction with each other?
For both of us, I feel like we both have been so much more connected because of it. And I even asked him, I'm like, we went up to Orlando this weekend, and I said, do you see a difference? Because I feel like I see it in me. And he's like, I've noticed, like, especially in the past, like, 6 weeks. I'm like, okay, so we're making progress.
Yeah, well, it's a soft girl era.
Yes.
It's a soft, and there's a trend, I think, going on, the soft girl millionaire era, where you can be a millionaire.
You get to have both.
You get to have both.
That's
and
right.
You don't have to be a ball buster and be in that cold ice queen, hard, masculine, no emotions, because nobody wants that anymore. I mean, it's nobody ever wanted it.
There's a time and a place for it. I think when I'm running a home, like, again, very systemized, very organized. So when I'm trying to get things done with the kids or the house or the scheduling, I think there's a time and a place for it there, but not in your bedroom.
No.
And not in an environment that you want to be soft and loving and open and receiving.
I love that. So part of what I teach is women making money in their feminine, but also doing the masculine, activities, but doing it in such a way that it feels good to them, because everything that we're doing is because of the result that we'll get. Now let's talk about like the women that you mentor. What is their biggest issues that they're facing that you help them overcome? Yeah.
So I always say there's 2 kind of core women that are coming into the academy that they want to focus on.
Okay.
So one of them is she has totally been burnt out. She's just been running, going, a very high performer, like an extreme high performer, but she's like, I cannot go at these levels anymore. And then we have a woman who she's like, I want to be that high performer. I don't have these systems yet. Teach me how to do them so I don't get to this other side. I can have it built along the way and in the process.
Okay.
So the powerful thing is that no matter which side of that spectrum you're on, you get to build the systems that support your life.
So is it like creating the SOPs for them with
SOPs,
everything?
automations, delegations, the systems that run whether you have a team or you don't have a team, because some of my members don't have team members.
I think everybody should have a team now.
Amen. In the home and in the business.
Both.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's just learning how to delegate, automate, outsource, all the things, so you have systems that simplify your life.
So that's basically the bulk of what you teach. It's like, let me show you how to run systems so that you can have it all. You can have your time back. You can be able to be high performer and still do the things, get to the gym, be the mom.
It buys you back time.
Right. So this is a buyback of time.
Yep.
Now, a lot of women don't leverage their time correctly because they think they can do it all, which is we get back into that like wounded high performer who's in that masculine. It's faster for me to do it instead of hire somebody.
Right.
Mentality. Right. Which I feel is you're just
Right.
You're
No,
literally
it's a recipe for disaster.
you're digging yourself a hole.
Yeah.
Now, when you see a woman start getting into that next level, what is she letting go of really at the time? Like you know the transformation I'm talking about. Like for you, like where you're seeing, what is the thing that she's doing?
Yeah. So a lot of it is trust.
Okay.
Right. So she's trusting that when you have a team member or you have someone that's supporting you in the home, in the business, you get to let go of those reins and all of the control that comes with it. Because
they're control freaks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And look, same. Girl, same. But
I'm reformed, but somewhat.
But I had to learn how to let go and let that person do what they were hired for.
Yeah. So instead of being micromanager and a perfectionist and being on top of them all the time, it's like, that's what I do with my team. I'm like, okay, you're out there doing the thing. Right. I'm going to trust that you're doing your job. And then if you don't, then I come back and I figure it out. But I've hired you to do a job.
Exactly.
Let me let go of the reins and just trust that you're going to do it.
Right.
When we're mentoring women, I think one of the things that I like to do is just create a very safe place for them to come in so that they can let their cape off and come into a space where they feel seen, empowered, and that they can say, hey, this is what I'm really having a hard time with. I need help with this. And I'm sure you're doing the same thing. This empowerment group that you have locally, what is it, who is it for, and how do they find you, and how does it work?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, it's called the High Performance Academy. Yeah. And it's
local though, right? In person?
Well, it's in person, but but there's members from all over the globe.
Okay.
So we have, East Coast, West Coast, but we also have international as well.
How often do you guys meet a year?
So funny that you say that, because it used to be like once a quarter, but now it's pretty much monthly.
Because, like Melissa's.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
But it never started that way. It just was the demand, and all the ladies were loving it so much that they're like, we want more, we want more.
We need that woman connection.
Yes. Yeah. So initially it was quarterly, but it's now been monthly.
When do you guys meet? Like, how do you do it?
Every month is different. We just had a yacht day.
Wow. You were doing on your birthday. Happy belated.
Thank
right?
you. That wasn't for my birthday. It kind of was like
a day before your birthday, because I remember that.
It was close to my birthday.
Okay.
So we just had a yacht day. Tomorrow, Friday, we're doing. It's called a mommy meetup. So one of my members is actually running it, but I'm co-hosting it with her. And we've had cooking days. We've had self-defense days. It's really fun. It's not like a luncheon. Like, we're doing really fun stuff together.
So you're actually coming together and
yes.
All right. One of my questions I want to ask you before we wrap up is, what do you feel like is the biggest resistance from a woman really embodying that next level version of herself, like literally being full on in her power? What do you think some of the things are the creator, like the resistance? Like, why is she? Because I know so many women that are listening, they're like, I am powerful too. I could be on that stage with Shamina. I could be running these events. I could be writing the book.
And you can.
Exactly. And they're like, but I know I have like this power still left in me that I'm not actually doing it all the way through. So what would you say to them right now? And I know you had to overcome it yourself.
Yeah.
Because you had power, but you weren't always this powerful,
Yeah. So, okay. I know it can be hard when you're like, maybe I'm not there yet, right? Because you're like, well, I don't have this message, or I don't have this voice to give, but you do. You do have the power. But you have to find, what is it about you that you can step on that stage or on that podcast and step up and say, this is my value, and I'm here to change the world and make a difference. Share your story. What is it that you can share that's going to make that impact?
But the fear will come up. I know that for many women. Like, for you to start, for Sandi to start doing events quarterly, and now it's every month, so many women would love to do something like that. But then they're like, oh, well, who's going to show up? And I know when Melissa was here,
there's always a voice.
She's like, I had 15 people there, and 8 of them were my friends when she first started. Now she does it monthly, and she's got hundreds of people that come.
Yeah.
So what is the one thing that they can do to get over that belief system? Obviously, you're a high performer and you're executing.
Yeah.
So you don't have the fear of it not working out, because you're like, it's just going to keep going till it works.
Yeah.
But a lot of people aren't really there yet. They have the idea. So what is your secret sauce of why you're doing it?
Okay, so two things, but they piggyback off of each other. Number one, you have to believe so much in yourself that you know you have your own back. You got to have your own back.
What helps you do that, though? Because that's something that's big. Like, what helps you believe that?
So the belief that no matter what, you're just going to figure it out. Like, and again, this might go back to my event planning days of like, when something goes wrong, I've had cakes not show up, pants split, dresses rip, all the things, right? But you're like, no matter what, I'm going to figure out a solution. So if you're constantly thinking, what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? You're never going to get to the solution, which is stepping on the stage, writing the book, having the show, etc.
Getting married, having the babies, doing all the things. Yeah.
But you've got to know that you're in control of it. So put yourself in the driver's seat and be the creator of your own destiny.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. You knowing that you have the power within. What I do that I think is really powerful to keep that going is to keep my word to myself. So if I say I'm going to do something, like everybody knows that about me in my world.
Yes.
If Shamina says she's going to do it, we already know it's done because I execute, but I also keep my word to myself. I'm going to go to the gym. Like when I started training for fitness shows, I started doing it. I started getting really lean. And then all my friends were like, what are you doing? We want to do that too. So then I had 9 people also on meal plans and they had no idea. They didn't want to get on stage, but they're like, they saw me doing it. And sometimes you have to be the leader.
You got to be the one.
And the one that shows others what's possible. So if you can keep that commitment to yourself and say, okay, I'm going to do the thing I say I'm going to do, all of a sudden your confidence goes up, your conviction goes up of how you can execute things. And then the follow through happens. And, you know, I said, when I first came into online space, I said, a year from now, I was going to be a millionaire. And guess what? $1 million crossed my Stripe account. And so it's like being able to expect it to be a result, but also put yourself in a position to get those things done that you say you're going to do.
You've got to want it to your core.
Yes.
And when you're tired, when you don't feel like it, look, when 5:30, when that alarm clock goes off.
5:35, she does. Did you hear her?
Exactly. When that alarm clock goes off, and you know what's funny? The alarm goes off and I'm already like ready to go because I'm so programmed to get up at that time.
Right.
But there's also times when I'm like, I'm tired. I don't feel good.
What do you do those days?
I do it anyway. It's not, I mean, especially, you know, when you know how competing is, when you get close to the show day and you're on such little food.
Everything, but lots of water.
And you're doing cardio and there's hardly any food and you're tired and all these things. It's your commitment to yourself because you promised yourself that you were going to do it.
Yeah, and that's what I love about bodybuilding or triathlons or any competition like that. It's like you get yourself out of your comfort zone, and when you get yourself out of your comfort zone, then I believe you find out your excellence or your next level extraordinary because you're not staying where you were yesterday. And every day I try to put myself out of my comfort zone so I can do something that's and you prepping is every single day commitment. So what I would suggest all of you do is try to find that thing that gets you out of your comfort zone every single day. Because the more comfortable you are, the more you're in that status quo, and you're going to get the same results, right? And Sanity's doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same results. So what would be your last thing you want to tell the audience about what you do and who you are, and just one last thing that you want to tell them about any of what we talked about?
Yeah, so I think, you know, what I would love for your audience to take away from this is that you're so wildly capable of accomplishing all of your goals and your dreams. But you've got to do it. You've got to stick to it, stick to the discipline, figure out what your goals are, surround yourself with other women that are going to support you and lift you up and cheer you on. I promise you we're out here. Find your tribe and go after what you're made of.
I love that. You know, one thing that Sandi just said I want to piggyback off is like be in rooms and be in environments where maybe you might slip, but if you have another woman or other women that are doing the same thing you are, it's going to keep you going. Because the moment that your little voice in you wants to say, hey, let's stop, or let's just do the thing you don't want to do, you're going to see your sister like Sandi or someone else doing the thing. You're like, oh, that's going to keep and motivate me going. That's why the groups that she's created, the groups that I've created, are so imperative that you get into those places so that if you want to keep your high performance going and get to that next level, that's the easiest way. Sandi, thank you so much for joining us today. Tell everybody how they can find you.
This was so much fun. So at Sandi Glandt on all the platforms, YouTube, podcast, social media, you can find me at Sandi Glandt everywhere.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.